Okay, ulinipatia hii physical.
I gave it to Mrs. Vicky to give it to you because you're the coordinator.
Mheshimiwa, mimi niende nyumbani mtafute huyo Mrs. Vicky.
Why are you going?
Okay, na kulisache wanasema walituma foodstuff ya 500,000. Hii mwili inagaa imekula foodstuff ya 500,000.
Hata mimi anashangaa.
Ile sasa mahakama ya kwamba wewe umekula pilipili zako zimeriet.
Sasa pilipili wewe na sanduku wewe iko fanya kazi namna gani?
I have not finished. Okay, complete. Since you want to complete, you are there. Complete. Complete.
Urongo mtupu. Huyu mtu naona mapo ya size yake. Is very nosy.
Umemaliza maswali?
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya usiogope kumaliza mwaka, bonyeza *811*758#.
Hebu tafakari haya. Mpemba haogopi mvua ndogo, msasi haogopi mwiba, mshoni haogopi sindano. Uoga huleta hofu, uoga huzuia ufanisi, uoga hulemaza safari, safari ya ujasiri, safari ya ufanisi, safari ya...
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya usiogope kumaliza mwaka, bonyeza *811*758#. *811*758#.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
What is this place?
Your trusted source for inspiring, uplifting, faith and family entertainment. Films that inspire and captivate.
We're not giving up.
I have to believe that something good is gonna come out of this.
You find me the secret.
You're doing a great job.
Stories that celebrate life and family.
I saw it with my own eyes. He is not a god!
Movies that will surprise you.
Queen!
Please don't do that.
Where's my project?
I know everything.
Films that uplift and bring people together.
Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. Well, we have so much in store for you. Some of the issues that we shall be taking a look at is matters of health. We shall also be taking a look at matters politics. At the same time, we shall be taking a look at matters security. Well, my name is Wambiru, sign language interpreter. is Lensa Odingo, and to kick us off, we cross over to Kisumu County, where police are holding a truck driver of Rwandi's nationality over the death of a boda rider along the busy Kisumu-Busia highway. According to eyewitnesses, the boda rider was first hit by a bus that was heading to Busia, making him lose control before he was crushed to death by the truck that hit him from behind. The truck driver, who was arrested about a kilometer from the scene of accident, claimed he was not aware of the accident that had killed the boda rider. The deceased body was moved to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Referral Hospital mortuary, while the suspect is being held at Kisumu Central Police Station. Well, and on that note, we cross over to Kencom bus terminal here in Nairobi County, where a COVID-19 vaccination drive is underway. And we now join our reporter Ruth Wambiru, who is at the scene and has more details on what is going on. Now, Ruth, kindly bring us to speed.
We are getting you loud and clear here from Kencom stage, where the vaccination drive campaign is ongoing. As the government said, most people will miss essential services if they don't get this vaccination. So it's a call, it's a rallying call to all Kenyans to make sure that they visit the nearest health center, whether it is private or public, and get the vaccination drive. And the Ministry of Health, in conjunction with NMS, have arranged for a vaccination here at Kencom, whereby people are getting vaccinated. As you can see behind me, there is a tent here, and the queue is getting longer, and Kenyans are coming out in large numbers. I think it will be good for those who have not got their jab to make sure that they arrive to the nearest health facility or a tent where they can get this vaccination drive. And I have here Lilian Mutua, who is the head of health and promotion at NMS. He will tell us about. Welcome, Lilian. Thank you. Some people are asking whether you are rolling out the booster shots.
We are not rolling out the booster shot. We are still giving the first and second doses. Our Ministry of Health and the national government has not rolled out the booster doses for Kenya. So we are still giving the first for those who have not received. And for those who have received prior, we are giving them the second doses. The only other bill is that for the age of people who are receiving COVID-19 vaccine, it has been stepped down to 15 years old. So between 15 to 18, they can still get their vaccine using their birth certificates.
So is it that Africa, the virus is not so severe, or what? Why are you not rolling out the booster vaccine?
What we know that we have researches going on, we have data that are collected, and it is upon the ministry at the policy level to give directive of when to start the booster dose, just like they are the ones who told us to start vaccination. So they are the ones who know how the trends are going. They are the ones who can really assess and know where Kenya is at, and through the office of the CS, we will be able to be told when this can happen.
So this drive is for people who have not gotten maybe their first and second.
We are giving for the ones who have not received their first dose, and also giving the second doses for those who are already due. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Wambiru, as the queue is going, I can maybe speak to one or two people who are queuing here to tell us what's the drive that has taken them to come to get this booster shot today. I have a gentleman here.
Hello.
What's your name?
My name is Nyamo.
Yes. What has driven you to come to take the drive today, the shot?
Well, I was just passing by and I saw this, so I felt it is near us than the other times. You know, the other times you had to go to places like Nairobi Hospital and Kenyatta, Bagavi. You know, you have to create more time. But now when it is near us, you just pass by, you spare some little time, unandungo alafu unaenda zako. So this drive is the best.
So is it your first or second dose?
This is my first. Yeah.
So what do you think what's the importance of you getting the shot, and those who have not gotten the shot, what's your advice to them?
Well, because this is a government initiative, I believe I should not be left behind. I should take the shot. And I want to urge everyone who has not vaccinated to come forward and do so. Let's all join, let's all do it because it's harmless. You know, it's not like before when people are saying, oh, kidunga unakufa, kidunga unafanya nini. Evidence is there that it's safe. And I also want to urge the government to bring it closer to the people. Like, let it come to the churches, the mosques, just the next door, like the polio campaign. Let it come because vaccines are there. Let it come like this initiative. Let it come closer to the people, and more people are going to get along. Yes.
Thank you so much. Good. Take your job. Wambiru will keep camping here and get the more details about this vaccination drive. And as you can see, more people are willing to get the vaccine if it's moved closer to them where they are. So I think the government might consider that so that more people get vaccinated against this deadly virus. Back to you, Wambiru.
That was our reporter Ruth Homboy coming live from Kencom bus terminal here in Nairobi County, where the government has put in place measures of putting up a COVID-19 vaccination drive at the bus terminal. These are measures aimed at taming the steady rise in COVID-19 cases that have recently been witnessed in the country. Now, still on the same, we move on to Mandera County, where a vaccination drive has been rolled out against COVID-19 in remote areas of all the 7 sub-counties. The vaccination campaign targets the nomadic communities who are far from medical centers. Speaking in Lafe during the vaccination campaign, Health Officer Mohammed Aiden asked residents to come out in large numbers for the vaccine. Cultural beliefs against injections have been a major hindrance to the uptake of the vaccine. Approximately 90 people have been vaccinated in Lafe sub-county as the county government works with the Ministry of Health to curb new infections.
Tunawaambia watu wetu wa Lafe sub-county ya kwamba wafuate masharti yenye ambayo Wizara wa Afya alitoa. Ya kwanza wavae mask, na ya pili social distancing, wafanye social distancing. Na wale watu ambayo tunapatia fursa hii ya kwanza ni wale watu wamefika miaka 50 na kuendelea mbele, na walimu, madaktari na yani na supportive staffs nyenye wako hospitali ama tuseme kwa shule, tunapatia hiyo fursa. Na wale wengine wako na underlying conditions bado tunapatia fursa.
Tumeshawishi watu na tumeadvise hawa washukue hii chanjo. I'm now advising them. Sasa hii ndio sasa mimi naeleza wananchi wangu ya kwamba wachukue hii chanjo, na kila mtu awe na mask yake, na hakuna mtu anaweza enda hata msafara yoyote katika Kenya hii, maybe from a location to other location, bila kuwa na mask na bila kuwa na certificate ya COVID-19 vaccination. Hii ni sharti ambaye imewekwa katika Kenya yote na ulimwengu mzima.
We have done a lot of awareness with our people
These nomads, usually what they have is that putting all these masks is a problem. It is very difficult for us. We have convinced them to put on as a preventive measure, but despite giving health education, people are not taking this mask. Even if you go to Mandera, you go to Elwak, the uptake of this thing is very low.
In other news, security has been beefed up in the coast region ahead of Christmas and New Year festivities in anticipation of a high number of visitors. Now, Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata says visible security will be in place alongside intelligence surveillance across the region before and after the celebrations. Elungata, in the meantime, is urging holiday makers to strictly observe COVID-19 protocols.
Has begun witnessing increased human traffic as both local and international visitors arrive for the Christmas celebrations. Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata assured locals and foreign holiday makers of tight security for their safety.
We also know that many people also bring the kids here to enjoy the ocean and the many swimming pools that we have. We have recently seen children drowning because of neglect. We would want parents to be sure that when they go to these places, the children are also safe.
Elungata, who was accompanied by the Coast Regional Police Commander Manasseh Musyoka, asked the management of worship places and the general public to cooperate with the security personnel and volunteer information on any suspected person or illegal activities.
Because the government has put in place everything. Everything is in place. And I believe if all of us would observe that, then we wouldn't have any issue whatsoever. Remember, coastal region is a destination for both international tourists and local tourists, which is a booster to the economy, particularly of this country and also of this region.
Musyoka urged bar owners and other entertainment joints to ensure total adherence to COVID-19 protocols. He added that police will work closely with the National Transport and Safety Authority in the enforcement of traffic regulations, saying public service vehicles and other motorists to follow traffic rules. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Stephanie Akiri.
Still in Mombasa County, an immense traffic snarl-up along the Makupa Causeway in Mombasa County has left hundreds of commuters stranded for hours after a fuel tanker lost control, blocking the road. Now, hundreds of commuters have been delayed out and into the port city, and traffic police have had a busy morning controlling the traffic, with hundreds of commuters delayed from getting in and out of the city. Now, the tanker has been removed and traffic is now flowing, but at a slow pace. Our reporter Michael Mandinga is on this scene and brings us more details on this. Mandinga.
Good afternoon to you, Wambiru. Indeed, the traffic police had a very busy morning trying to control the traffic with commuters who were stranded along this Makupa Causeway. As my cameraman will show you, there is a heavy traffic snarl-up all the way from Makupa police station, all the way going a stretch 2 to 3 kilometers behind, all the way to Mikindani and Jomvu. And the real cause of this traffic snarl-up, there is a fuel tanker which lost control, veered off the road and lied on side, thus causing a heavy traffic jam. The police indeed had a very busy time trying to control the traffic, with commuters complaining they are stranded. Those coming in and going out of Mombasa town really had a very hard time. But the traffic police, the traffic boss in the coastal region has advised those using this highway to be very careful. Those approaching this area around the Makupa Causeway should be very careful, and to other commuters to be courteous enough while using this road, of course, to see on those who to give way and also to take their chances, and also advising the commuters to be very keen while using this road, and to those lorry drivers also to be very careful on this road. But another problem, which is not really a problem, but something manageable, just right behind me is the construction of the Makupa Bridge, thus making it making it difficult to have 2 lanes, one coming to town and one going out of town. So basically what they're using only one road. The other side of the road is the construction of the bridge. So they're just using the upper road, which is being used being used by those going in of Mombasa town and those going out of the island. But what is starting at the moment is just the advice to those commuters to ensure that they be very careful while on this road, and of course to take into account that wherever they are going, what is more important is just their security, just to ensure they are okay and make sure that the traffic rules are followed to the letter. That's all we have at the moment from Mombasa town, and back to you, Wambiru.
Well, that was our reporter Michael Mwandiga with an update of the traffic snarl-up that has been witnessed at Makupa Causeway earlier on today. Now we move on. A family from Lupingazi village in Embu County is in agony following the disappearance of their son over a month ago. 24-year-old taxi operator Kevin Kimanthi, also known as Mnati Kobe, went missing after he was hired by 3 unidentified men to ferry them to Kodiaga town and has since not been traced.
Kobia is said to have made last contact with colleagues on the fateful day, promising to come back but never returned.
Tuka notice apote aonekani juu awezi maliza siku 2 bila kuja nyumbani. Sasa hii ilikuwa siku ya 3 ndio nikaenda nikapiga report. Tangu nipige report tumekuwa tukishughulika lakini hatunjapata yeye.
The family says efforts to reach him that evening were futile as his phone had gone off, prompting them to report to Central Police Station in Embu 3 days later.
Sasa akapigia rafiki yake, akamwambia sitaweza kufika kwa nyumba, nimepata customer. Tena akiwa kwa njia akasema I'm on the way to Chicago. Simu ya 3 ikawa mtenja.
His car was found abandoned near Kodiaga town and towed to the area police station, and only his national identification card was found in his car.
Kama kuna mtu yoyote anaweza kuwa na habari yake, mahali anaweza kuwa ako, atunjulishe ama ajulishe kituo cha polisi kilicho karibu na yeye. At least tutakuwa tumefurahia juu tunamumiss na mambo yake imesimama na tujui yako wapi. Tumemtafuta kila mahali lakini hatunjampata.
Kobia is said to have been preparing to venture into politics and was to contest as a member of county assembly. His colleague Charles Kenywa reported that it has been difficult for him to come to terms with his colleague's mysterious disappearance since he was with him on the material day and he never showed any sign of distress or fear.
Na sasa tungeomba serikali at least iingilie kati, watusaidie kutafuta huyu kijana, sababu ni kijana alikuwa amejitahidi kwa maisha na ni kijana mdogo.
Beatrice Gatonyengetich, Lunchtime News.
And now in the political arena, Murang'a Senator Irungu Kang'ata says the United Democratic Alliance Party will use all avenues to stop attempts to amend the Political Parties Act before the 2022 general election. Kang'ata claims the amendments being fronted currently were in bad faith and the manner they were being rushed is suspect.
Kang'ata, who held talks with a number of UDA aspirants in Murang'a, said it was not proper to try and amend the Political Parties Act almost 8 months to the next general election.
Tuna oppose hizo amendments ambazo zimeletwa na bwana Kimunya, zinataka kumwandamiza mwananchi wa kawaida. Zitafanya siasa ziwe za wadosi, lakini sisi tunaamini ya kwamba chama demokrasia ni ya kila mtu. Na ni ndiposa tunapinga haswa mswada ambao unagusia mambo inahusu nomination, ili vijana, wamama, wazee wawe na opportunity ya kuingia katika ulingo wa siasa.
Elsewhere, a section of ODM grassroots leaders have come out strongly to condemn claims that Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho has endorsed his successor. The group claims the endorsement of Mvita Member of Parliament Abdul Swamad Sharif as the preferred gubernatorial candidate for the party in the next general election was against the spirit of the party.
We are alive to the fact that there exists a consistent pattern, a consistent negative reporting pattern designed to create discontent, division, wrangle, and divide ODM aspirants before they are forced to defect from ODM.
Finally, Wajir gubernatorial hopeful Hassan Welia, who was endorsed by Council of Elders last month, say he will reach out to other opponents.
We have a commitment from the Sultanate and also from my personal level to start a process of engagement and negotiation, which the two families are open to and the two candidates are open to. Going forward, we'll have a single candidate from the family.
Welia has called on other hopefuls to put aside their political differences and work together for the common good of the county.
Meanwhile, an American non-governmental organization has built a childcare center at Kodiaga Women's Prison at a cost of 8 million shillings. The center will mostly cater for over 15 children whose mothers are in prison.
Speaking during the handing over of the facility, the director of the foundation, Patrice Andia Carter, says she was touched by the welfare of the children whose mothers are in prison.
That's why it was named Carter's Foundation Child Development, for the children that are innocent here to be able to develop skills and strategies for them to be able to grow up into society.
Carter says her vision is to visit other correctional facilities and set up such centers that will benefit children to develop without being deprived of the opportunity to learn and integrate with the outside world.
You can build a school for the prison. The children from the prison can go into the school systems as a primary, secondary, and high school facility. That will be my heart desire for the next assignment.
She called on Kenyans to embrace prisoners and come out to help them integrate with society.
I would encourage you all to take out the opportunity to come and really visit the prison so you can really see that they're just like us. They deserve a second chance.
For Lunchtime News, Emma Machoka.
Busia Governor Sospita Ojamong has accused legislators from the county for not taking the legislative role in Parliament seriously. Ojamong said MPs have been a big letdown, allowing the country to run into debt. The Busia County boss claimed government is surviving on borrowing 3 billion shillings daily to run the country, something he said threatens the future stability of the nation.
Tulipowacha bunge, tuliwacha deni ilikuwa karibu 1.2 trillion. Hawa wameenda huko, wameenda kufunika masikio na macho. Deni sasa hii ni karibu 9 trillion. Nyinyi mnaumia hapa mkiona tu, mnafikiria ati mnaakilishwa huko. Kumbe mjamaa amelala huko tu. Kila siku tunakopa karibu bilioni 3 kuendesha serikali yetu.
Jambo lingine.
Still on matters held, Embu Governor Dr. James Nyoro has urged politicians to desist from politicizing family planning at the expense of exposing the electorate to poverty. He said that politicians should be practical when prevailing upon people in their localities not to plan their families under the pretext that respective communities will lack political might and bargaining powers. Speaking at the Embu County headquarters in conjunction with the Christian Health Association of Kenya, Nyoro said family planning is a very controversial issue and called upon individual couples to discuss between themselves the number of children they can be able to raise comfortably.
To support it, it is one of the health outcomes that we in Kiambu have been working on. And despite COVID, we have continued to ensure that we embark on preventive rather than curative health service provision.
It's about helping them to have the children when it's most appropriate for them and help them with the number they need. Because if we are not able to have the information on how we can do it and the methods that we can use, maybe to help us prevent not to have pregnancies when we are not ready, then you end up having them and it becomes stressful. It may affect your physical health, may affect your mental health, then it may also affect the health of the child that is being born.
Moranga Water and Sanitation Company has waived accrued water bills amounting to 500,000 shillings for the less fortunate families. The move is a relief to many who would have gone without water during this festive season.
Mwasco Managing Director, Engineer Daniel Nganga, noted that the company's board of directors will waive all accrued water bills for the vulnerable.
Waiver close to 500,000 shillings in terms of water bills for those people who are vulnerable and are not able to meet pay their bills. We have been able to stabilize the reticulation systems. People are able to get water close to 24 hours.
One of the beneficiaries, Agnes Wairimu, lauded the company, stating that it has been difficult for her to settle her bill.
Wale wa mama wazee wamebahatika matangi, wale wenye wamekuwa na mashida, wenye hawajiwezi, tumekuwa na bahati.
The company also gave 50 water tanks to the locals to help them harvest water during the raining season, besides donating foodstuff to the less fortunate.
Well, that report brings us to a fast break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far. More news coming up.
The KBC Board of Directors, Management and Staff wishes all our esteemed listeners, viewers and clients a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. We wish you peace, joy and prosperity throughout the coming year. Thank you for your continued support and partnership. May your holidays be filled with happiness and good cheer.
He stole our game, so then I stole his. If the law should get involved, he and I will be punished. You're innocent.
If you meddle in my business, like you already did once, I'll think less of you than I do of Jaijo Wei.
Those who hide things from me aren't qualified to work with me.
Hao-Kang! Let my son out!
Open the doors, Hao-Kang. Let me talk to him.
I'll be your father now.
What did you say?
有一段故事建筑一座城堡，会放进去后就不再。
Welcome back. Now let's proceed. And now on to a story of a philanthropic taxi driver who runs a children's home with 60 beneficiaries. What motivates Aswan Kizito? Brian Macau caught up with him in Kawangware, Nairobi. Let's take a look.
By night, Aswan Kizito is a taxi driver, while during the day he plays the role of a father to 60 children at the Project of Hope Children's Center in Nairobi, Kawangware Estate. The center started in 2016 with Kizito's son, then aged 8. The boy is a special need child. Now at 13 years, Kizito's son is still using Pampers and on special diet, including regular therapy sessions. All this requires special budget. His situation depicts the reality when it comes to other 8 special kids at the children's center.
The idea generated from my son. Hope my son can come here. My son is Prince Samuel. Prince Samuel is cerebral palsy. He is now 13 years. He cannot sit properly. He cannot walk properly. He cannot walk, he cannot sit. The challenges of the special needs, how they can be taken care of. We also need physiotherapists. Now, the physiotherapy sometimes is very expensive, 500 shillings per session. You go to Kenyatta or you go to ABDK.
Derek is currently the oldest beneficiary at the Project of Hope Children's Center. He is now a Form 2 student in a nearby secondary school. An orphan, Derek was rescued from the streets.
Mimi nilikuja hapa 2015. Mimi ni orphan. Nilikuja hapa kama orphan na nikapatana na Swani. Yeye ndo amenisaidia kwa chakula, mavazi, yani kila kitu amenisupport. Mpaka nikasoma mpaka class 8 nikamalizia hapa. Sasa niko secondary, bado ananisaidia kama analipia school fees.
Kizito runs the home with the help of his wife. He says his high times are when he walks in to spend some time with the children here.
We will not just have kids here who are school-going children just to be there. They have to go to school and they have to learn.
However, running the Children's Hope comes with some challenges.
The challenges here from food, we are leasing this place, and from the stationery, all the teachers here are volunteers. We don't pay them. So if a teacher comes here, and some of them are very nice, they are doing a very good job, but now they come and tell me, Pastor, I have to go because I've gotten a job. So I just have to release them. So as far as he was a good person or a female teacher or a male teacher, I just have to release them because financially we are not okay.
Kizito believes there is still more that the society can do to help the less privileged.
The government has come up with a very good program of Inua Jamii. And you find Inua Jamii is not to all. Not all of them are in Inua Jamii. Only some of them are in Inua Jamii. So if they can really come up and they put every child on that program, then it will be very nice. And if they can help me here in Kawangware, I build a good school for these children, I'll be good, I'll be happy, because that is my vision.
Children are an integral part of the society, and whatever issues they face has a ripple effect on the larger society. The question is, what is the government doing to help these children? What is the society doing to help these kids who have no one to go to?
Now let's talk business. Poultry farmers in Kakamega County have been asked to join cooperatives to enjoy the economies of scale that would help them reduce the cost of production and maximize earnings. The county government of Kakamega says associations would make it easier to support farmers in accessing target markets and strengthening the value chain.
Poultry farmers in the county of Kakamega have for long faced competition from external poultry traders who offer cheaper alternatives due to low production costs. To remedy this, officials from the county government say they are ready to offer subsidies to boost the value chain. County officials noted that with organized systems, it is easier to address farmer needs and negotiate markets for their outputs. They say with the cooperatives, the farmers can hold discussions on how to better their practices and identify their niche in the poultry trade.
Ulikuwa naona mtu akishafanya ukulima wa kuku mwenyewe ndiye alikuwa anatafuta market. Lakini sasa tukiwa na hizi mpango na watu wakuje pamoja, ndio sasa tunataka tunafanya research ile ya kutusaidia tujue market gani inataka kuku za aina gani.
Ilikuwa ni mzuri sana. Kama wakulima tunaweza kujoin cooperative, na hiyo cooperative
strengthened na ministry yetu ili iweze kutusaidia kama wakulima tuweze kuaccess funds, tuweze kuaccess inputs kwa bei nafuu ili tuweze kufanya ukulima.
Farmers have been receptive to the idea, noting that reduced cost of feeds and a means to have their complaints addressed will drastically improve their returns. Reporting for Lunchtime News, my name is Hibak Said.
The United Kingdom's hospitality industry is experiencing millions of cancellations as COVID-19 cases surge to record highs, with many people choosing to stay away from busy pubs and restaurants. Following advice from England's Chief Medical Officer Chris Whitty to be cautious, many consumers are choosing not to socialise ahead of Christmas. Here are the details of these and other news from across the borders.
Christmas should be peak season for UK's bars, pubs and restaurants, but pubs are facing disaster, with potential risk of going out of business. The British Beer and Pub Association says there were 3 million cancelled bookings in the second week of December alone. Pubs in London Soho would normally be packed on the last weekend before Christmas, but now most are quiet and some have closed their doors. The guidance from the government to limit social interactions and shift to working from home has put the hospitality industry into lockdown, pushing down sales in pubs in parts of London by as much as 70% compared to the same time in 2019. The UK confirmed 91,743 new cases in the last 24-hour period, bringing the total caseload to 11.45 million. Meanwhile, Turkey's treasury has announced the new protection scheme against foreign currency fluctuations after the lira tumbled to Meanwhile, Turkey's treasury has announced a new protection scheme against foreign currency fluctuations after the lira tumbled to 13 to $1, which is an all-time low against the US dollar. According to the policy, the central bank will publish the US dollar buying rate daily at 11 a.m. local time to calculate the exchange rate differential. People can then choose between different deposits accounts with a maturity of 3, 6, 9 or 12 months. If the yield remains below the exchange rate difference between the account opening and its maturity date, despite the earned interest, the ministry will compensate the depositor. Finally, US President Joe Biden has said government measures to tackle global supply chain issues have averted a pre-Christmas crisis. President Biden was speaking ahead of a meeting with officials and company bosses, including transportation giant FedEx. In June, he created a task force to address rising prices and shortages of goods caused by the pandemic. However, some business owners and industry experts say American farms are still facing supply problems. President Biden says that shop shelves are stocked at 90% of their full capacity and deliveries are happening at a faster rate than before the pandemic.
Now, the news digital credit providers will now be required to give defaulting customers a 1-month notice before listing them on the Credit Reference Bureau. This is part of the new regulations that the Central Bank of Kenya has drafted to regulate the digital lending industry. The regulations also bar digital credit providers from sharing customers' data with third parties. The CBK has published the regulations a day when the CBK Amendment Bill 2021 is expected to come into force today.
Of disorder and public complaints, sobriety appears to be settling in the digital credit industry. This follows the enactment of the CBK Amendment Bill 2021 that puts digital lenders under the supervision of the Central Bank of Kenya.
So we've been putting it in place. We hope to have it sort of launched maybe in the second quarter, so April, let's say, of next year.
To guide the regulation, CBK has now published the draft Digital Credit Providers Regulations, which cover the licensing, governance and credit operations of online lenders. The regulations make it illegal for lenders to use threats, intimidation or violence when recovering their loans. Lenders will now be required to have at least one physical office with qualified employees before being issued with a license by CBK. The opening, relocation or closure of lenders' offices will require approval from the central bank. The draft regulations also compel lenders to put in place appropriate policies, procedures and systems to ensure the confidentiality of customer information and transaction. Any person who contravenes the provisions of the preceding regulation commits an offence and shall be liable upon conviction to a fine of 500,000 shillings or imprisonment for a term of 2 years or both. The CBK says these regulations and the CBK Amendment Bill 2021 seek to ensure that credit lenders are running a legitimate business that is backed by law that protects the lenders and their customers. Regina Manyar reporting for Lunchtime News.
And in the sports arena, Kenya's Rayton Okwiri's World Boxing Organization Africa's Super Welterweight title fight against Ghana's Patrick Alote, scheduled for this Sunday in Accra, has been put off indefinitely. Alote is reported to have injured his shoulder during a training session and he is unable to face Okwiri. The two boxers will vie for Royal Boxing Organization Light Flyweight title. RBO is a sanctioning body based in Luxembourg, founded in 2017, and sanctions World, Intercontinental and Africa titles.